Ladies and gentlemen, my intervention is going to be extremely brief, and is to respond to some of the views that have been expressed, particularly by Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, my old comrade, and to say that we're also waging an ideological battle here. Let us be clear about it. And as a former Marxist, we were told that the ideas of the ruling class, are the prevailing ideas in any historical epoch. Therefore, it is a fallacy of generalization to blame all Nigerians for corruption when we know those who are corrupt. Please, you cannot hold me vicariously liable for the sharp practices of a few people who are importing petroleum products to Nigeria. If they brought it to the ship, to our sea, and diverted to Cotonou, or Togo or Cameroon, and we have been shouting ourselves hoarse to stop this kind of economic crime, and we are called names by government. Comrade Adams is here. 6 times the Olusegun Obasanjo administration increased the price of petroleum products in 8 years. What did you get at the end of the day? Nothing. My sister here, Ngozi, was the Minister of Finance for 4 years under Obasanjo. We're told the same song, the same thing. In fact, when we wanted to pay the World Bank, London and Paris Club, $12 billion in one fell swoop. That's never happened anywhere in the world. They were paying them what we never owed. We had paid the money over and over again. Some of the loans for which we were paying back, the money never got here. But we paid, and were told by the Honorable Minister then, $1 billion with which we were servicing the debts will be saved to stop infant mortality, maternal mortality. But today, maternal mortality, infant mortality, and the rest of them are on the increase. I'm perhaps sadder than everybody here, because I was in Algeria last week, in the house of the Nigerian ambassador, a very dedicated official, who almost in tears when he told me that Algeria has $180 billion in foreign resources. And Algeria gives 100 scholarships to Nigerians every year. That is a kind of collapse we presently suffer. We must help government. I'm not really here to attack government. I believe government has a problem, and we all have a duty to help government. But I want to appeal to you. You must listen to alternative suggestions. And that is the only way to move this debate forward. Once we have identified the cartel that have profited illegally and criminally from importation of petroleum products. And Sanusi has answered it all. He said, we are not consuming 35 million liters per day. I also agree with that. We are making progress. And I have said it as well. The current reorganization of the PPRA by the Honorable Minister of Petroleum is already yielding fruits. 148 companies, some of them building contractors, were importing fuel. Now that figure has been reduced to only those who have storage facilities. And that is the way to go forward. If you allow that current reorganization to go on unimpeded, I'm sure in the next couple of months, we may be thinking of a figure that is lower than 500 billion naira and not 1.3 trillion naira. Please, the Nigerian government is the most subsidized in the world. Government officials are the most subsidized. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi has just confessed in his own testimony here that he wouldn't remember when last he bought fuel. No, honestly. Now, he knows that cannot happen in Europe or America. Nigeria is in a country where you move to an official quarter. Where you are living, you sell it to yourself. Now, the current speaker, and I must say this publicly, the current speaker of the House of Representatives is a tenant because his predecessor sold the house to himself. They are not negotiating whether to rent that one for 80 to 100 million naira. It doesn't happen anywhere. That is the rent-wreaking elite that we must fight. Please, there are laws that have taken care of some of the contributions of the minister and the governor of the central bank. But the laws are not being enforced. Just like Jesus Christ said, go and sin no more. Please, go back to Abuja and enforce our laws. And I'm happy my very good friend, the Honorable Attorney General is here. Nduka, in line with the law you fought for, FYI, I told the FEMA, please, that it was a law made in 2007 when Comrade Adams Oshiomhole led the labor movement. Obasanjo said, we are demolishing auto gates because we are making so much money from the increases that he carried out. Therefore, we don't need the toll gates. He spent 360 million naira to demolish the toll gates. Now, this regime wants to spend 1.3 billion naira to bring back the toll gates. These are the issues to fight. I wrote to them, you should have been deducting 5% charge from everybody who bought fuel and diesel in Nigeria since July 2007. And in a very prompt reply, I was told, we have never implemented the law. And that is why our roads are in this mess. So let us enforce that law. Every user of petrol or diesel is required to contribute 5% to a fund for the maintenance of our roads, 40% to FEMA, 60% to all the state road maintenance agencies in Nigeria. And they shall be published weekly in the electronic and print media. That is what the law has said. Now, what we are doing today has also been captured in the PPPRA law. The problem we have, sir, is that PPPRA has not been allowed to do its work. Under the law, it is the business of PPRA to check fraudulent practices by importers, to identify genuine importers, and pay after verifying what they have brought to the country. But that law has not been allowed to be operated. Therefore, let us go back and allow the law. It said, prevent collusion and restrictive trade practices harmful in the sector. And those are the harmful situations that the ministers have dwelt so much upon. I therefore will want to suggest, and this law will also interest the Honorable Minister of Petroleum, deep offshore law. They did a study in 2009 that by lack of operation of this law, Nigeria has lost $18 billion. Because the law says, anytime the price of oil goes beyond $20, then you go back to the drawing table and ask for more money for Nigeria. With regards to smuggling, for 5 years I pleaded with government, because while I was president of the West African Bar Association, I discussed with some of our colleagues in government in neighboring countries. What of the idea of having mega stations by NNPC in your countries so that we can deal with smuggling? They said that would be very wonderful, even for their government, because government will take some money through taxation for the oil you sell in our country at official price, as opposed to the money going to the pockets of smugglers in your country and our own country. So let us go and build mega stations in those neighboring countries. I'm happy the Honorable Minister of Petroleum has said they have good policies to build refineries. 20 licenses were given out by General Obasanjo. Nobody took advantage of any of them, because they were given to the same people who were importing petroleum products. Now that government has decided to build refineries, that can be done, from what we gather, within the next 18 to 24 months. We are not talking of subsidizing to 2015, my brother Sanusi. We are talking of an interim measure. But while we are building our refineries, the minister has also informed us. They have finally now agreed with us. From Madam used to harass government. Why are you giving turnaround maintenance contracts to politicians who have nothing to do with the oil industry? government has now agreed belatedly to call those who build road refineries to maintain them for us. Again, that will take the next 1 year. Therefore, don't impose further punishment on Nigerians. Please, when you say labor will fight, what is minimum wage of 18,000? It's not a take-home pay. 18,000 naira will not take anybody home. Therefore, you can't blame those who are taking 18,000 for the economic crimes of those who want to go out and they have about 15 cars on the road. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. I therefore would like to suggest that we allow the regulation going on for the next few months so that we can identify loopholes in the system. And if the figure comes to 400 billion to 500 billion, you cannot say that is what you are going to use to fund your budget. Please, this year alone, the budget of 47.7 trillion that was presented by the President to the National Assembly, 72% of it will go for the current. Nigeria is the only country in the world, any modern state, I'm not talking of banana republics, where government officials, when they are sick at that cadre, can be flown abroad for treatment. In fact, they are entitled to a medical trip abroad for checkup every year and for treatment. That's only for the rich. It doesn't happen to the poor. Where do you have that in the world? Today, you are not telling us this, Malam Sanusi, that when you deregulated, when Nigeria deregulated the production of food because of the structural adjustment program imposed on us by IMF and World Bank, we warned them, don't demolish the marketing board. I'm finishing. Don't demolish the marketing board. Malam, today, we are spending 24 trillion naira to import food. 1 billion naira per day to import rice. Why are you not stopping that? Please, let us go on with honest re-evaluation of our problem. Build the refineries, maintain the four existing refineries. And then let us sit down by April to see how far we have gone. I will also advise, like Olisa has said, Olisa told the president, and I'm challenging the Honorable Minister of Finance after this meeting, you must call a meeting of those who have suggestions. Olisa has said there again today, and I've confirmed that from shipping alone, we can make 7 trillion naira a year because people are going in and out of Nigeria without paying a kobo to the purse of the government. And the last one, where we must also learn from Obama, when you have the leakage in the Gulf of Mexico, America made $20 billion. We have just had the largest leakage 2 days ago in the Bonga oil field. Please, as soon as you get to Abuja, I beg you, call Shell and demand for $20 billion. Thank you very much.
Femi.